I inherited my grandfather's cabin, but now my family wants it back. I'm a 27-year-old guy, and I recently inherited my late grandfather's cabin. To give some context, my grandpa and I had a special bond. Growing up, I'd spend every summer at the cabin with him. We'd go fishing in the mornings, read old adventure books in the afternoons, and listen to his wild stories by the fireplace at night. He taught me how to tie knots, use a compass, and appreciate the simple things. It wasn't just a cabin, it was our little world. When my grandpa passed, he left the cabin to me, specifically citing that I was the one who truly appreciated it. My family was initially supportive. They even told me he made the right choice. My parents, aunts, uncles and cousins all said they were happy the place stayed in the family even if it wasn't theirs. I went through all the legal stuff, made sure the title was in my name and everything was above board. After sorting the paperwork, I took my first solo trip to the cabin. It's a bit old and needed some fixing up. Broken porch steps, a creaky door, and a leaky roof. Nothing I couldn't handle though. I started documenting the repairs and posted a few updates on social media. You know, things like today I replaced the porch steps. And check out this view from the cabin. People seemed to enjoy the updates, especially my cousin Emily. She commented a lot, reminiscing about our childhood visits to the place. A few weeks later, she suggested it would be great to have a family gathering at the cabin like the old times. I was hesitant. It's not a big place and I wanted to keep it as a peaceful retreat, but I figured it would be nice to reconnect with family. So I agreed. Emily came over first, saying she'd stay for a couple of nights, but her visit stretched into a week. And during that time, she started making all these comments. Stuff like how it was strange that Grandpa left cabin just to me and how it would have been better if the whole family could have shared it. I brushed it off initially, thinking she didn't mean much by it. But then, during a family dinner at my parents' place, my uncle joked that I should be careful or they might just take the cabin back. Everyone laughed, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was some truth behind his words. A few days later, while cleaning out the cabin's attic, I found some old letters my grandpa had written. In one of them, he explained why he chose to leave the cabin to me. He said I was the only one who ever showed genuine interest in it. The rest of the family treated it like a vacation spot, but I treated it like a second home. That letter meant a lot to me and I felt like I was honoring his wishes by keeping the cabin. But then the comments started rolling in. My aunt asked if I could host a big family reunion there. I turned her down, explaining that the place couldn't handle that many people and that I wanted to keep it as a peaceful retreat. She didn't seem too happy with my answer, and soon after, my uncle called offering to buy the cabin from me at a fair price. He kept talking about how it would be a great way to keep the cabin in the family. I declined, politely but firmly. Things really blew up in the family group chat after I posted about planning another solo weekend at the cabin. Emily called me selfish for hogging a place that meant a lot to the whole family. I tried explaining that it wasn't about keeping it to myself. It was about preserving what my grandpa wanted. That only seemed to make things worse. My other cousins started piling on, saying that I should be more considerate and that it's not fair to keep the cabin to myself. What really stung was when my mom called me later that night. She didn't outright say I was wrong, but she mentioned that the family was disappointed that I wasn't sharing the cabin with them. She said they felt like I was keeping them from their memories with Grandpa. I told her about the letter, how Grandpa wanted me to have it because of the bond we had, but she brushed it off, saying I was taking things too literally. Then came the part where my uncle made another offer, this time more direct. He suggested a specific price for the cabin. He said it would give me a nice little boost for my future plans. I could tell he thought I'd jump at the chance, but I just told him I wasn't interested in selling. He didn't take that too well, said I was being stubborn and that the whole family was starting to feel alienated. It was getting awkward. After that, I tried to keep my distance, but the tension kept building. I'd post another photo from the cabin, maybe of the newly painted porch or a sunrise over the lake. And like clockwork, I'd get snarky comments from Emily or one of my cousins. I found myself second-guessing everything I posted, wondering if I was rubbing it in their faces. But I wasn't going to give up the place that meant so much to me. I don't know. Am I being unreasonable here? It feels like I'm just trying to honor my grandpa's wishes and enjoy a place that meant a lot to us. But now, it's like my whole family's turned against me. It's hard to keep the peace when everyone thinks I'm in the wrong for wanting to keep the cabin as my own. Update 1. After that initial blow up with my family, I thought things might cool down. But it only got messier.